Welcome to the Radical Lifestyle Podcast, brought to you by Generation to Generation, where you will be inspired by the past, equipped for the present, and prepared for the future as we engage in conversations with people from around the world.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Operation Open Eyes takeover of Radical Lifestyle. I'm here with the beautiful Anne, all the way in Thailand. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Hi, my name is Anne Thongves. I'm the director of Beginnings Foundation in Thailand. So we have two homes, one in Bangkok and one in Pattaya City. So we work with the women and girls who, some of them used to work in the red light district and some of them are risk. So we trying to stop the generation. So we encourage them to stop working and also encourage them to won't send their children, their girls, to end up in the same situation that they used to be.
So beautiful. And I had the amazing privilege of meeting you and coming to Thailand for the first time 10 years ago this December.
Oh, 10 years.
I know. It's been so long. And I'm so sad I can't be there now because of the COVID that's hitting the world.
Yeah, sad.
But I know. I'm feeling it deeply. But COVID is not stopping you. And it seems like you guys are doing great things. But I've known you for 10 years. How long have you been with Beginnings Foundation?
Actually, almost like 14 years.
Wow.
Beginning start for 15 years, and I came and joined before it's like almost a year. So
Wow.
I've been with Beginnings like 14 years. Yes.
Oh, I love that. Okay, and will you tell me a little bit about your journey of how you came to work with Beginnings?
Actually, I was graduate in marketing, so I love to do my marketing. I want to be like brand manager. I want to have something that I like. I want to meet people. I love to do business also. I have my own business. I own a restaurant. It's a fine dining Chinese restaurant in Bangkok. So I
And the food
love
there is
to
wonderful. If anyone's ever in
oh,
Thailand, what's the name of your restaurant?
Silver Palace.
Go. The food is so good. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
sitting
carry on. So you
here.
have a restaurant.
Yes, I'm sitting here at the restaurant because the signal is very good. So I I love to I feel like I can support people by like giving my money. But one day that God calling me to be a full-time servant of God, that was like shock. I feel like, what? I'm not the one that I'm gonna be like a full-time servant of God, like that I can like give all my time to help others. I feel like I can give money. That's it. But it's really hard when I have to say yes to what God calling me. It took me a day to like say that God like talk to me, that I can say yes and do what God asked me to do. And it is my privilege to be here for 14 years. And I feel like God calling me to be the voice for this woman because their voice is not loud. And I I feel like we never know what happened to these people and we judge them first. And I used to be one of the person that judged these people because my society teach me like that. My society teach me that this is a dirty people that chose to do this kind of things. But who knows their story? They don't know their story at all. They don't know what these girls been through in their life. They don't know nothing. And we just judge them. So that's the part that like I feel like God wants me to be their voice. God wants me to speak for them. When someone talk about like they chose to do like that. What? Do you know that story? So if you don't know, I'm gonna tell you that story.
Oh,
I'm
please.
gonna let you know. Something like that all the time. I wanna be like the person to tell them about their story. And I feel like that's what God asked me to do. To tell
Amazing.
people about what's going on and what they can see
That's
from
beautiful.
me, to speak this like voice for them.
I love that. And your heart just shines for this. I am so glad God called you, and I'm so glad you finally said yes. Because I
Yeah.
honestly can't think of anybody better to fill your shoes. Just being there with you, seeing your heart for the girls, how much you love on the girls, and to me, you are the perfect house mom. Like, you are the perfect balance of like discipline, like these are your girls, these are your kids, and at the same time you lavish love on them like nothing else, and it is the most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen. So you doing what you do blesses me.
Thank you.
So you said that you were not aware of their story, their journey, that you were kind of brought up to kind of think less of them, to think that this was, they were dirty for doing what they were doing and it was their choice to do it. So can you tell me a little bit about your journey from there to how you came to understand more and where the place you're at now?
I grew up in a family that my mom always told me that this isn't dirty people. They are like doing some like dirty things, which like I felt like, oh, okay, I understand like that. But one day, I think when I hear their story, that's the point that like clicked my heart. Because like as a woman, no one wants to be like that. No one wants to go around with like many men, right? It's broke their heart. But sometimes as a mom or as a daughter who wants to sacrifice themselves for their children, they have to do it. They have to do something. So their story touched my heart. Their story is make me feel like this is a person that I should honor them, not judge them. Because what they do is sacrifice themselves to save their family. What this woman chose to do it because poverty, no education. They don't have like, how can they go to school if they don't have money? The government support, but
Wow.
the government support for the tuition, but who's going to pay for the transportation? Who's going to pay for the uniform? Who's going to pay for the meals? So they don't have a choice. What
Wow.
is the choice? For me, I felt like, what is the choice? So some of people that can do it, so I honor them. But not everybody can be the same. Not everybody can be like do what I like. Not everybody can be like what you want them to be like. So I feel like it is like their story is helping me change my heart.
I love that. That's so beautiful. I love that because you said, you know, we think it's a choice, but what is their other choice? Right?
Yes.
It's not like, you know, you have a restaurant, so I can choose to work in a restaurant or work in the red light district. Why not work in the red light district? You know, it's,
Yeah.
you mentioned poverty, it's the lack of choice, it's all these things, lack of
Yeah.
government finances, which we in the West are very blessed to have that support. Um, and I think that's very key for people to understand when we're looking at where these girls come from. So how many girls do you think, and it's not just girls, is it? It's boys as well, but you primarily work with girls and women.
Yes, girls. Yes, girls. Because we focus in girls because we open the house for the girls, but we also works for the lady boys, the ladies boy who's like they are like men in a woman looking. So there's some lady boys works in the bar also.
Yeah, it's a lot. How many do you think estimated are working between Bangkok and Pattaya in the red light districts?
I think more than 50.
50 people?
50, 50 people. 50,000.
50. That's a lot of people.
Yes,
Like when
at
we're
least
talking
like
about alternatives, that's a lot of job that we would need to open up for them
yeah.
to leave, right?
Yes, right, right.
Are there that many jobs going free?
So sad when I talk about the number. I was like, when you count, like people said, like how, like that's not gonna work. If you count one bar has 100 girls, 200 girls, how many bars in Pattaya City? Do you
Right.
know? 1,200 something in Pattaya
Wow.
City. And how many in Bangkok? I don't know yet
Wow, so
because
that's
it's
just
spread
Pattaya
many
itself.
places. Yes, yes.
Wow. Now, Pattaya and Bangkok are
Uh,
very different. The red light situation looks different, right? In Bangkok,
yes,
it's
right.
kind of segregated, it's in one area. What's the situation in Pattaya like?
Pattaya is like, okay, Pattaya is a vacation city. I went to Pattaya when I was young for the vacation time, and many Thai people go there for vacation time, but they don't go in that area.
Okay.
My mom would say, like, close your eyes, don't look at these dirty people.
Hmm.
That's what they taught me because, like, we stay in a five-star hotel. There's a lot of five-star hotel in Pattaya City. You can pay at least like in a five-star city, in a five-star hotel, you pay at least like 6,000 baht
Ooh.
a night till 25,000 baht a night.
Ooh. Okay, those are some nice hotels.
That's a nice hotel. It's not just for sex.
Yeah.
It's it's the vacation place. So people go to Pattaya seeking for not just only sex, seeking for something
Yeah.
in this city. So I feel like before we open the Pattaya city, God like gave this to my heart that Pattaya city is a city for like people come and seeking for love, companionship, fun, many things, money, everything. But beginnings want to bring the true love and hope to this city. That's what God gave me. So I feel like that. And it's just like remind me on Facebook last couple days. It's like 5 years ago. I feel like, oh, God, like He is like He knows what's gonna happen, and He is the one who has a plan, and His plan is for your safety.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. But it is, but Pattaya, it is more wide, the sex trade is more widespread than in Bangkok throughout this. It's
Yes.
easier
Right.
to come across and easier to access.
Yes.
Um,
Right.
but I do think it's important, and I talked a little bit with Libby about this, to understand that Thailand is not limited to the sex trade, right? There's a lot more that happens in Thailand. There's a lot of beautiful things, beautiful places, beautiful people.
Yeah.
And it is a great place to visit outside of the sex trade. Yeah, it's important to know that this issue is real though. And I've met the girls in your homes that you've been able to take in, and they are beautiful, beautiful girls.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
just the love that they have for each other and even for the others that are still working is beautiful. I know there are some of the girls who have graduated already that still want to work with Beginnings Foundation to help make a difference in
Yes.
others'
Right.
lives. And to me, that is just fantastic because it shows not only the change in the heart in their lives, but also what an amazing place that you have that these girls want to stay long
Yeah,
after. So
thank
how
you.
many girls have you housed over the years? So in 14 years, how many girls have you had in your home?
Oh, I think it's like 79,
Wow. So just a couple.
79.
And
Yes.
still going strong. How many do you have in both homes now?
We have 17 in the boat home.
Wow. And the youngest and the oldest are.
The youngest one is 10, and the oldest one is 24. Now we
Wow.
focus in education. So both how they all go to school. And we also have the vocational training. So most of them, if they're older, they don't want to stay in the house. They want to leave outside and come for the vocational training.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And when you say vocational training, what vocational trainings do you provide?
We offer now, we have a brand new baking school open, one in Bangkok and one in Pattaya. So we have both.
Ooh.
So in Pattaya, we open for like couple months during the COVID. We invite the girl to come and join us, and we teach them how to bake, how to like do a small business to support themselves. And in Bangkok, we just start, and we have like some girl who used to work in Nana or in the red light district in the train station come and join us. So they learn how to make a Chinese donut that they can make it and sell it. Like so, we encourage them to have like some like skills. So we also encourage them to do like some like hairdresser, even like do the teller. So we support them to choose what they can do. But as our own space, we offer a baking class.
I love it. And I love that ability to choose. Like, what is it they're passionate about? What is it that they want to do? And your heart as well is so beautiful in that you would offer this and you open your doors and you offer a place to stay, but you don't limit your help to the girls that only want to stay,
Yeah.
right? Because the whole point of beginnings is to give these girls a life and a future and a hope that they want, not just what someone else wants for them.
Yes,
And I can
right.
also attest that the food in your baking school is so good. And that is another thing I am
Thank you.
missing this year. I know every year
Yeah.
you're like, taste this. Does anyone want to buy some? And I'm like, yes, give me it all. It's so good.
Yes.
And
The
you
cornflake
are
cookies, right?
the brownie flakes.
The brownie flake. Oh,
So
yes.
good. Okay, I'm hungry now. But
Yeah.
um oh, I lost my train of thought there, thinking about the food. Um so giving the girls this hope and the future in food, and you are one of the busiest people I know, but you're also someone who gives everything to excellence. Everything you do, you want to do well, and you impart that into what you give to these girls. It's, if you're going to do it good, do it well, do it right. So these girls are not just getting trained in makeshift, like, oh, make some earrings and you'll be fine. It's like you said, like, let me train you how to make a business, let me train you to succeed. And that is such an incredible opportunity that these girls and women have in working with you,
Yeah.
that a lot of places don't offer or don't have the ability to offer. But I know this comes at great cost to you, because you don't just work 9 to 5. You give everything all the time, right?
Oh, I don't know.
When was the last time you took a holiday, Anne?
Um, I feel like when I go to bed, that is my break time, and I feel like God gave me strength.
Yeah.
Like I never feel like I couldn't go to sleep. I don't have that problem. I can just go to bed, and the next day I have another energy that God gave me, and I can do it again. And I felt like my I'm not working. I never feel like I'm working. This is a part of my life. It's like being what God calling me to do when you know that this is your calling. So it's not you are working.
Yeah.
You it's a part of your life. It's I always like when Roy gave the metaphor of like the tea bag and the hot water. When it's when you put the tea bag in hot water in like next 2 minutes, you will not know what is the tea bag and what is the water because it's become one. It's the same. If it this is your calling, so it's gonna be like this.
Yeah.
So I couldn't like feel like, oh, this is my like working time. This is my like I don't many people ask me how many hours you work a week. I don't know. Did you count? I said, I don't know. Because I don't have a working time. Like this is at like almost 11. I'm still talking to you. So I don't count it as a working time. We don't have like a note to take notes every day. The girls call me at midnight. We have to talk. So you can say, I'm sorry, I'm sleeping. I cannot talk. No, we cannot do that.
Yeah.
Like there's someone that called me at 2, need help. So we need to talk to them, right? How
Right.
we say like, wait for tomorrow and call me later
Yeah. The
if
time's
they need
gone.
help.
Right.
So I feel like that's like we don't call it as the working time because this is a part of your life. So you do it as you are like you doing it's one of a part of your life.
And I love that. And, so those of you listening to this podcast may know that this is run by generation to generation. And one of the biggest testaments, I think, to that is you have your daughter, your actual physical daughter, who has grown up with this, right? In this environment, in this home with these other girls. And one of the most beautiful things I've seen is that for her, this is her home. These girls are her sisters. Your generosity is her generosity. And I would even say even more so. She's one of the most generous people I've ever met, kind-hearted. And you can see it's genuine, that there's no resentment, there's no force in it for her. It just flows out of her, and you have made your ministry her ministry. And to me, that is the most beautiful and biggest testament of everything you've done, is when you can raise a daughter amongst it and have that same passion and that same flow. And she also has her own identity and her own passions, and you've done great in raising her and encouraging with that. But her steadiness and her heart it's beautiful, and I'm blessed by her just as much as you every year too.
Thank
And you would
you.
never know, if you hang out with all the girls, you would never know which one was your daughter, because they're all your daughters. But
Yes, right.
she is your daughter, and of course,
Mhm.
she's special for that. And I think the way you've raised her in that is beautiful, absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful.
I want her to be a big blessing as her name because
Yeah.
I name her as a big blessing. BB is a shortcut for big blessing. So I want her to be a big blessing. I remember that when she was 18, I drove her in the street of Pattaya city that has like more than 100 bars in that street. And when we drove out, and she said, I feel, I don't know what is this. I feel I couldn't breathe. I said, like, from where? She said, here in my heart. I feel like it's so like pain and heavy. And I was like, I'm so glad that you felt like that. That's the way that you should feel. That is. I'm so glad to hear that because I want them to learn how to have to feel the same, the pain that they like God feel pain and sad. Even them, they feel sad about themselves. So like how we gonna help other people like feel the same and know that our love and honor that we give to other make other people feel better,
Yeah.
especially this girl.
Uh, and she is living up to her name. She is. It's
Yes,
flowing
thank
from her.
you.
You named her perfectly.
Thank
And I
you.
think that also shows in you, I think it was this last year. So every year you take us to Pattaya as a team to really catch the heart of what we're working for, of what you're working for. And for those of you who listened to the last podcast that we did with Libby, would have heard about the Christmas parties that Beginnings Foundation throws every year and is happening again next week. But every year you take us to Pattaya to see the kind of heart of it in Pattaya. And there's this one particular street, and every year you come with us and share your heart with us. But I'll always remember this story as there was this one girl that you randomly started a conversation with, and her response to you was, I've seen you, you come here a lot, I've seen you. And
Yes,
just your presence as a regular light in that darkness opened that door for the conversation with her. And she knew just by watching you that you were different from everybody else walking that street. And
yeah.
that's a beautiful. Now, did she come to the party last year?
Yes, she came to the party last year. And she's the one, like now she's not working in Pattaya because of COVID. She moved back
Okay.
home and then she's gonna come back and do the baking school, like
Wow.
try to join us. So she said like my mom won't let me come back right now, so I need to like be in her hometown first. But she's planning to come back for the baking class.
Like, that's amazing. Those are the stories that make such a huge difference. Like, when we talk
Yeah.
about, excuse me, the numbers of, you said maybe over 70 girls so far, when there's so many thousands of other girls, but everyone matters. So these stories where these chance encounters make all the difference, and for you, it is all about the one. You know, when we're talking about all these thousands of girls that are there, that can seem overwhelming. But for you, it is about the thousands, but it's not. It's about the quality of the people. It's about that one
Yes.
conversation for that one person that you can
Yes.
make a
Right.
difference in. And you've had
Yes.
so many stories like that.
Yeah.
So tell me what you're most looking forward to about the parties this year and the changes with COVID that's happened and how you are
Oh,
moving forward with it this year.
it's so challenging.
Yes.
I was like, oh, what is this? What's we going to do? The plan and everything is so different. So we are like, we don't really know what's gonna happen next. Actually, this year we just like, okay, like we prepare what we can prepare, and we the table we're gonna like have like only like 6 and 7 people at the like at one table.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it's gonna look like, but we're trying to make it as warm welcome as we can because we want them to feel like welcome. Some of them are my like student at the baking class, so I know them, and they invite their friends who works in a bar together to join the party. So yes,
We'll wait and see.
yes,
I think we're going to have another video afterwards so you can tell us how it all turned out.
yeah, like you will see it at the party, right?
I
You're
know,
gonna
I'm so
join it, so you
excited.
see it. Yeah.
But I know everyone's curious, and these parties are a great time for you to share the love of Jesus, because we all know our help is limited, but his is not. And he is the hope, but also about the home and what you guys do. And you've had some beautiful outcomes from the parties previous years. So from girls coming and working with you, coming into the home, from ones bringing their sisters or their daughters so that they don't have to do what they do, to you've had Bible studies formed from it. Is there anything that can't happen from these Christmas parties? Anything God can't do?
Yeah, right. So I feel like that this is the first time that we have to wrap our Christmas gift by ourselves.
I know. I want to be
Normally
there.
we have the team to help us wrapping all the gifts, but thank God that this year only 50 gifts that we have to prepare. It's my first time. Like I felt like our first party that we did like 13 years ago, we prepare 100 gifts. This is the first time that we prepare only 50 gifts, which is like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to choose, because normally I get like 10 like purse, 10 pajamas. This time I have to choose like 4 or 5 pajamas, 2 or 3 picture frame or something. Like it's very difficult. It's not like in the past that you pick like 10 of these, 15 of these. That's easier.
Right.
But
And
this
you have
one is
such
like,
a giving heart as well, like to bless
yeah,
these
right.
girls. When these girls, a lot of them have never received anything like that for free
Yeah,
before.
right.
And so to receive that gift with no strings attached just because they're loved is huge.
Yeah.
I know. I put up my own Christmas tree today, like first day of Christmas. And the whole time I'm like, oh, I want to be in Thailand putting up the Christmas trees for the Christmas parties. And, my build up to Christmas for the last 10 years has always been with you.
Yeah, right.
So it just feels so different this year not being there. And I hate that we can't be there to help and just help you take that stress off and create that atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I know you guys are going to be great. And I know, we're believing that who God wants to be there will be there, and the impact will be just as incredible as the other years. And even in the difference, God's got it, and he knows. And the work you do doesn't just happen in December. It's all year round. And the impact you're having on these girls' lives are beautiful. Yeah. And you've had new girls arrive this year, is that right?
Yes, right. We have one who's like, her mom works in Pattaya, and she came to the baking class and she invited her daughter to stay with us.
Yay.
And another 2 girls in Bangkok and 1 more. So we have 2 more in Pattaya, 2 more in Bangkok.
Beautiful. So see, COVID isn't stopping you.
Yeah.
COVID can't stop you in beginnings. All right, so we're wrapping up, but thank you, Anne, for sharing with us. Yeah. And I'm so glad everyone gets to see and connect with you, because the impact you've made on my life is no small thing, and the impact you're having there in Thailand is no small thing. And I hope you'll join us again on the podcast to talk about what happens after the parties and all that we can learn from you. And
thank you very much.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's so good to see your face, even if it is on the screen and not in person. So thank you for joining the Radical Lifestyle Podcast.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If it inspired you, please rate us and subscribe on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or another podcast platform.